here at Blues Matters with Devon Allman, all the way from the USA. Where are you today?
Today I'm home actually. Just kind of getting ready for the American leg of the Blues Summit Tour. It kicks off tomorrow in Louisiana. So I'm just kind of doing the last minute stuff. We're about to go pack up the tour bus and get ready for the tour.
Tell us about the new album, The Blues Summit, and how it was recorded.
There it is right there. It just came out.
Absolutely.
We recorded it over the spring. And I decided to shake things up a little bit. I usually make my records in kind of musical hotspots like Nashville or Chicago, Miami. And this time I just really wanted to be home. I wanted to be able to go in and work at my leisure from 11 or noon to 5 or 6 and get home with my wife for supper. And that was a real luxury to kind of feel like I had the ability to go and be creative, but also balance that out with getting home and having my home life. So that was important to me this time. We just set up in a circle and we would kind of write out a roadmap, kind of arrange the songs right on the spot. They had been written on the last revival tour backstage. Me and Larry McCray and Jimmy Hall and Sierra Green would get in a backstage room with a couple acoustic guitars and just kind of throw ideas around and concepts around and guitar riffs. And, slowly but surely we fashioned them into songs, but we didn't really fully arrange them. We had verses and choruses and, all the parts. So when me and the guys in my band got into the studio, that was time to, really kind of pull out those pieces and parts and arrange them on the spot and record. And we got to do it over the course of about 3 different sessions over the course of a couple months. And then, when we got near the end, we had Jimmy Hall and Sierra Green come into St. Louis and put their parts down. And we sent files off for the guest stars, Kingfish, Robert Randolph, and Larry McCray. So they got to do their performances at home and send them back. So, it really takes a village. We had a guy come in and put a string section on the song Real Love. We sent files off on a handful of songs to get the Memphis horns section on the record. So, kind of a little bit here, a little bit there, and all put together, back at the mixing session in St. Louis.
If I never knew any better, listening to it, it sounds like it was recorded in Memphis.
It sounds like, what's that?
It sounded like it was recorded in Memphis.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you got some heavy hitters and some blues guys and an organic band and the Memphis horns. Yeah, I agree. It still has a little bit of a Memphis angle, but Memphis is about 4.5 hours downriver from us.
Yeah. Some of the songs on the album, Running in the Night, where did that originate?
Runners in the Night was a Larry McCray guitar riff, and I started singing over it pretty quickly. And I always like to kind of break things down to their kind of core truth. I looked around the room at Jimmy Hall and Larry McCray and Sierra Green, and I said, we all come from different backgrounds and we're all totally different people, but we're all runners in the night. We're all doing this. We get on stage and then we get on the bus and we roll on to the next town, and we're all runners in the night searching for the light, which is searching for that connection with people to brighten their day. So Runners in the Night, Searching for the Light was really an autobiographical nod to our existence as traveling artists.
And blues is a feeling?
Yeah. I mean, Jimmy Hall came up with that. Blues is a feeling, and I remember B.B. King saying, blues isn't just for when you're sad, it's also a celebration of life. So I think it's really important, to have a blues-based song that encapsulates the blues also being a celebration.
And the song Peace to the World, you've got Robert Randolph playing on lap steel there.
Yeah, Peace to the World is one of my favorite tracks on the B.B. King live record called Live at San Quentin, where he went and played in the prison. That's where I fell in love with that song. I come to find out it was a song written by a cat named Trade Martin, but B.B. King kind of made it a little more popular. But I just always I thought how cool it was for BB King to go into a prison and play a song called Peace to the World. Like, I'm sure that that was very medicinal for those men spending years confined. It always struck me as very, very classy and also very heavy. And I don't know, I think we could use a little peace in the world. It seemed apropos.
Yeah, the way things are going just now.
Well, we say that, and then I kind of look back in history and go, we've always needed peace. Things have always been messed up.
The next one is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is Sierra Green's take on Real Love.
Yeah. I wrote that song for her because I really wanted her to have a vehicle to showcase her incredible talent and her vocal ability and vocal approach. I don't know. I sat down with her and said, what's the one thing you want more than anything in the world? And she's kind of, confused, like didn't really know how to answer. And I said, well, isn't it real love? Isn't that what like everybody just wants? And I said to her, I said, like a real love, like the kind you find in movies. And she goes, yeah. And I said, well, I think that's your song. And I built it around a D major 7, G major 7 progression, which is a very pulled out of the playbook of Curtis Mayfield, who is a major. I even have a Curtis Mayfield tattoo.
Right.
He's such a major hero of mine that I thought giving her a 70s vibe, a Curtis Mayfield vibe would be a good move.
Your vocals in the album are soulful. Talk about the song After You.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Her. When you got to sing a song after Jimmy Hall sings a song or Sierra Green, you better bring some soul to the table, or you're in trouble. Yeah, After You is a fun one. I was kind of thinking along the lines of like a Rolling Stones Goat's Head Soup kind of feel. Yeah, and the chorus says she'll come running after you. It's kind of really about the ladies that run after rock stars, like this 70-year-old rock star, if he was an electrician, he would not be getting that young girl, so it's really kind of about opportunistic young ladies.
Get greasy with it.
Yeah, that was just a cool riff of Larry McCray's, and the more I heard it, the more I heard a horn section, and I didn't hear a singer on it. I just heard a really great, I don't know, midway point on the album to let the album breathe and go from the first half to the second half. It just made sense to me, and I'm pleased that we kept that an instrumental.
Talk about your version of Willie Dixon's Wang Dang Doodle.
I mean, that's one of my favorites, and I just really wanted to hear Jimmy Hall sing it. And, really more than anything, I wanted our if you want to call it a super group, I wanted us to play it on stage. So I thought, hey, let's try and capture it. That's a really fun one to play guitar on and do a battle with the guitar and the harmonica.
Yeah.
And Jimmy just sings his ass off.
Right. With Wang Dang Doodle, you can do that live on stage and get lost in the song.
Yeah, you kind of a center point.
Hands and Knees, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, that's a Larry song, and he's just such an effortless singer and guitar player. That was a fun one to put together for him. And then we sent it off, and what we got back was his amazing performance. So I'm really glad we were able to do that. We wanted to do a couple more songs with Larry, and just it was hard to get it all together and to get it to happen. So maybe more in the future. Definitely more on the live show.
Little Wing is one of the best versions I've heard, and I've heard a lot.
Yeah, so earlier in the year I had been asked to be on the the Experience Hendrix tour, and they wanted me to do Little Wing, and I had asked them if it would be okay if I did it more in the style of Derek and the Dominoes' Layla album. And they were into the idea because it would shake it up, because a lot of the Experience Hendrix tour, it's kind of half and half. Half of the artists really try to emulate Jimmy, and half the artists just kind of do their version of a Jimmy song. So I was really grateful they let me do that version. If it sounds similar to the Derek and the Dominoes version on Layla. It is supposed to. It's a direct tribute to the spirit of that, trying to recreate it or anything like that. But I just wanted to do an updated modern version to tip my hat in respect to that version. I love that version so much.
The last instrumental, Midnight Lake Erie, that's got history, yeah?
Yeah. So I had a record out in the 2010s called Ragged and Dirty, and there was an instrumental called Midnight Lake Michigan. So for this record, I just wanted to have, I felt like we didn't have anything that was like spooky, and I wanted something spooky. And when I heard it played back, I thought, well, that's cool. That's really eerie. And then I thought, oh, geez, like Midnight Lake Erie. This is a companion piece. This is a sibling song to Midnight Lake Michigan. So anybody that's kind of followed my career that would see the song title Midnight Lake Erie, I think they would know pretty quick, like, wow, this is cool. This is like a sequel, you know?
Yeah. What are you thinking about playing them live?
Can't wait to play them live. We've already done 3 shows, one in Sweden, one in Germany, one in America, and the show pretty much we play the whole record, and then we add in some nice, you know, other bits. A couple of my songs from my last records, Jimmy Hall's big hit, Keep on Smiling. We play a song or two of my father's. So we have a lot of kind of bags to pull from. But yeah, right out of the gate, playing this stuff that's so new has gotten a really great response. We played to 10,000 people in Germany at a big blues festival, and it was cool to see people react to this batch of songs.
What's it like playing them live?
It's invigorating because they're brand new, and you know, it's always fun to debut songs and start playing them when they're fresh. My solo band had been playing a pretty similar set for 2 years. So we were definitely ready to sink our teeth into new material on the stage. And luckily, things like Blues is a Feeling, Little Wing, and Real Love, and they're all translating on stage really well.
Where do you start your tour?
We start the tour tomorrow in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
How do you think it'll go?
Well, I mean, you know, with anything new, it does take a minute, you know, and I've noticed that, you know, when we started the Allman Betts band, we were really happy in the beginning to get 300 or 400 people. You know, now we're 7 years into that band, and we're lucky we'll, you know, play to 1,000 or even 2,000 people. So that first bit takes a while. So I know it might be, in some markets, it might be a slow boil, but you know, hopefully the record just brand, it has to be out there a little while.
This album sounds the most bluesy one in your career. What do you think?
I would agree with that.
And what does the blues mean to you as an artist?
And the blues to me is when you play or you sing with feeling and soul. A pop song and a rock song, you're playing or singing with some measure of attitude or trying to be catchy, you know, pop and rock. With blues, it's just all feel. It's just feeling. And there's a certain emotional aspect to it. If you bend a note the right way and you can make that guitar, you know, talk or sing or cry, then you're heading towards the blues.
For you, what makes a good song?
Man, that's tough. I mean, something that kind of haunts you, you know, something that has a good melodic structure, a good beat and feel, a good message, a good story. Yeah. I think those are the elements that people look for. They want to move their feet, they want to move their ass, they want to feel like the story is something they can relate to. And then you know, the melodic structure really dictates whether or not it's memorable. And if it's too melodic, you know, then maybe it's like a piece of, that's why they called it bubble gum. You know, you chew it and the flavor runs out and you spit it out. There's a delicate dance there of, you know, having something memorable and catchy, but not corny.
What's the best advice you've had in your career?
My best advice I ever got was always stay out there, because the minute that you sit at home, someone is passing you by. Someone is entertaining the people that you should be entertaining. That was actually from Warren Haynes's wife.
Right.
Yeah, who I've known, forever. I called her and I said, give me one piece of advice that I can hang my hat on. And she said that. Always stay out there, because the minute you sit home, someone is passing you by.
What keeps you motivated?
Man, it's the audience. I mean, we don't leave our homes and our families to go play to no one. We specifically go to play for people. And we specifically go to play for people to elevate them and make them forget about the troubles of the world. It's all about them. I could have a horrible night, but if they're happy, I'm happy. I don't care. It's not about me. Even though you might be front and center on the stage with a spotlight on you, it's not about me at all. We're only in that room for one reason, and it's them. So the audience always motivates me, and maybe you don't please them every time, but if you do something that moves you, then chances are there's some people that it'll move them.
Do you think music is a healer?
I think I think it can be a healer, but I think more importantly, music is a connector. We live in a world so divided: black, white, left, right, old, young, gay, straight, and there's all of these devices that keep us divided. And music is such a beautiful connector, and it breaks down all those walls. So I think when you connect people, that is healing in itself.
You get the balance right between work and family life?
It's definitely difficult. I've been missing home a lot lately. This has been a very busy, probably the busiest time of my career ever, but I'm also in control of it. I get to decide. I'm very lucky to be able to decide what I do and when I do it. And we've just had too many great opportunities to, I don't want to say no. So I try to take it with a grain of salt. My son is full grown. My wife is a doctor, and she can hop on a plane on Thursday or Friday and come spend a couple days on tour. That really helps. But yeah, that normalcy of home, cooking your own food, driving your own truck. Like, I won't go out on tour longer than a 20-day run.
Have you any plans for playing in the UK with a tour?
Yeah, for sure. We're putting it together right now. The Blues Summit Tour will come to Europe and UK 3 times next year. And the UK will get their own 10 to 12 date tour. And I'm not sure if that'll be spring or fall, but it will happen.
Right. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Any advice for upcoming musicians?
Work hard, and work hard because you like the work, not because you have a expectation tied to it. If you work hard enough, you'll get good enough. And if you get good enough, people will all of a sudden come to see you and hear you. It's really about making that noise, and getting out there, playing with as many people as you can, and playing as many shows as you can. It's kind of the easiest time to do this music thing, and also concurrently the toughest time.
You're right. There's so many platforms to get music out there now.
Yeah. But the one thing that hasn't changed since the beginning of rock and roll, as we move into, almost 80 years of rock and roll, the one thing that hasn't changed, and I don't believe ever will, is word of mouth. So if you're down at the pub and you have gotten so good that you're blowing people's minds, you will fill that pub. And if you fill that pub, then the Shotgun Club down the street will upgrade you there, and you will play there. And when you sell out the Shotgun Club, you will be asked into a theater. And when you're asked into a theater, you'll get an agent. And so no matter what level, as long as you get really great at being you, if you work hard, something will happen.
You've got to practice to keep getting things right.
Not just practice, but do. I mean, when I was young coming up, I realized very quickly that one performance in front of even 10 people, one performance was worth 5 practices.
Did you find it tough growing up in a musical family?
I mean, I don't know. I tried to really not spend time thinking about it. I tried to spend my time thinking about how I could just get better. How could I write a better song? Could I surround myself with better players? Could I play a better gig? Could I sing better? Could I play a guitar solo better? Could, all of those things, could I make a better poster for the show? Could we have a better logo? Like, just always. And I'm still that way to this day. I'll see something come across the board and, and it's tough. It's tough for Blues Summit. I had a guy in the UK and he sent me his first round of the album art. And I said, man, I'm sorry. I've got to go in a different direction. It wasn't good enough. And, it's hard to make those calls. It's hard when you're 21 to go to your drummer and say, I need a better drummer, and those hard things can sometimes hold people back. But you have to know what you're aiming for and you have to be okay making those tough calls.
There's no better education than playing live on stage.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the thing that makes it all come together.
What's the blues scene like in your area in St. Louis?
I mean, it's this is a historically blues-based city. Albert King is from St. Louis. We had Oliver Sane. Obviously we had Ike and Tina Turner, Michael McDonald. Lots of soulful artists from here. We are the site of the National Blues Museum. I'm on the board of directors for that museum. We have an area of downtown called Soulard, and Soulard is historic for having many blues clubs. It's experiencing a bit of a decline lately, but I think that that's across the board nationally with live music, specifically up and coming live music that maybe doesn't have that next level of records out and touring and all that. That's very tough these days, kind of as I stated before, but it's a rich history. And, there's still players coming out of here that end up in touring acts and things like that. I mean, out of St. Louis, we haven't had a ton. I mean, Marquise Knox is from here. Jackson Stokes, who's in my band and signed to my record label, is from here. Maybe not so much a blues artist, but very bluesy player, and more of an Americana rock, blues rock, maybe. But yeah, those are the names that come to mind, right out the gate. I mean, you got guys like Kingfish, playing to 5,000 people a night. I think the blues is alive and well. I think it always will be. It's a timeless genre. It's loved and revered all over the world. Like anything, whether it's science fiction films or pro basketball, interest is going to ebb and flow. It's gonna have periods of, notoriety, and it's gonna have periods where it's more not underground, but just under the radar. I mean, it hasn't been that long in this few decades where you've had successful records by Gary Clark Jr., John Mayer doing his blues record. Those weren't that long ago, and blues festivals are still very big. I think the blues is it's always going to be there.
The future, what about your hopes and fears for the new album?
Well, I think anybody that makes art, the fear is that nobody hears it or sees it. So we always want, that ties into the hopes for it. I hope that as many blues lovers connect with it as possible, and, definitely going to take the tour around the world and do our best every night to elevate people. And then we do our own tour, typically in the summer, where we play stuff from our couple of records. But yeah, both projects are alive and well. We just don't do them all year round anymore because we really want it to be special when we come together to do those.
You keep in touch with anyone in the Royal Southern Brotherhood?
Cyril Neville, we text sometimes, or we were on a cruise together recently, like a blues cruise, and we sat down and had a drink. And sometimes when I play in New Orleans, he'll come out and and say hi at sound check. Or he's a hardworking man. It's always a pleasure to hear from him.
Have you a preference playing festivals or intimate venues?
I mean, both have their benefit, and I really feel like, a band like, this Blues Summit is kind of made for both, a big stage at a festival or a smaller stage in a small theater. I really thrive on both. I really love both. I love nighttime inside a smaller theater, and I love, a big festival performance too. They're both cool. One's just got a bigger feel and it's a little more exciting, and the other one is a little more captivating and intimate. And I really like both.
What about collaborating with other artists?
I've always really loved, I kind of came into it as kind of me against the world kind of philosophy. But when I started the band with Cyril Neville, Royal Southern Brotherhood, I realized how much I missed out on with collaborating. And so once I did that, I just feel like I want to go from collaboration to like to keep it fresh and shake it up. And, I'll do something for a couple years, couple albums, and then move on to another thing. And that keeps it fresh for me. And I really do like that. Yeah, for sure. And it's fun now because, when I put together a solo tour, I can play a song from Honeytribe. I could play a song from Royal Southern Brotherhood. I could play a song from Allman Betts. I could play a song from Blues Summit. I could play one of my dad's songs. I end up having all these different bags to choose from. And it's neat to see the audience react, because maybe they have a favorite record or they have a favorite band I was in or a favorite era. And it's, that's one of the benefits of getting older, in a longer career is kind of being able to visit those different times.
Is playing solo harder than playing in the band?
I don't know. I just, I've always, I guess in everything I've done, I've kind of always led the charge. We share that in the Blues Summit. We shared it in Royal Southern Brotherhood. I don't know. I like being, in a total solo band situation, but I really love being in an ensemble cast.
Have you anything to say to the Blues Matters readership?
Here it is, Blues Summit just came out. It came out in the top 10 of the Billboard blues charts. We're really pleased with it. We had a lot of fun making it, and I hope everybody will pop it on and turn it up.
Thanks very much for coming along, and I hope the tour goes well. Maybe see you in UK.